bring to us poetry from inspiration sought. Come join us with your images, your verses, words, and thought. From here, we'll share your balladry with those who do not know it. This platform's here for you to show the world that you're the poet.
Welcome to episode 63 of You're the Poet, the poetry podcast featuring you. I'm host Matt Burgio, and I'm here with co-host Phil Burgio. Phil, welcome.
Thank you.
Here at You're the Poet, our purpose is to share our love of poetry with the world and invite you to do the same. We want to start by saying thank you to all of our listeners who have made You're the Poet possible. We hope you enjoy the podcast and the poetry that is shared. If you've written any poetry and you want to share it here, whether you just have an interest in poetry, consider yourself an amateur poet, or are a professional poet with published works, contact us to be a guest on a future episode. Our featured guest for this episode of You're the Poet is Mike Defendant, who is joining us from Springfield, Ohio. Mike, welcome to You're the Poet.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, we're glad you can make it on the show, and we look forward to your contribution to the episode. To start things off, we're going to turn it over to Phil to share a classic poem for the episode.
Okay, this poem is by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and I was really surprised because I'm a big Sherlock Holmes fan. I never realized that he wrote a lot of poetry, published poetry books. So this is called Retrospect. There is a better thing, dear heart, than youth, flush, or girlish grace. This is a faith that never fails, the courage in the danger place, the duty seen, the duty done, the heart that yearns for all in need, the lady soul which could not stoop to selfish thoughts or lowly deed. All that we ever dreamed, dear wife, seems drab and common by the truth. The sweet, sad, mellow things of life are more than golden dreams of youth. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, he was I would call him a 19th century Renaissance man. He was a doctor and a writer. He was a doctor on a couple of ships. Naturally, he wrote Sherlock Holmes, active in sports, spiritualism. If you want to know more Conan Doyle, you got to read it yourself because we can spend a whole podcast just on his life.
Yeah, I was surprised when you sent me this classic poem. I mean, obviously, I've heard of him from the Sherlock Holmes series, but didn't realize that he had a collection of poetry out there. I mean, not surprised that a writer would write poetry, but that he actually had a published collection of poems out there. So it makes me want to check out more of that. I really liked this poem. I thought I was going to make a note too, Phil, that you do a really good job of finding poems that speak to you in our classic poems. So
yeah, this kind of does.
Yeah, I thought this was another one, and I liked his sentiments in this.
I'd like to add, I really like your voice as well. You sound great reading it.
Well, thank you.
All right, well, from here, I'm going to share a poem for the episode. This is a poem that I'm pulling out of the vault from when I was working on different poetic forms. So this will be a tritina. If you're not familiar with the tritina, that's basically sort of like a shorter version or a variant of the sestina, which is this large kind of complex work. But the tritina itself is composed of 3 tercets that includes 3 endwords that rotate in a sequence. So like in the first stanza, you got your first 3 endwords, and then the next time you flip the lines 3-1-2 and 2-3-1 as far as using the same word to end the line. And then it concludes with a single line that contains all 3 of the words that you used. So this one's called Forever Bound. You lie in my arms awaiting forever, a destination for which we both are bound. Together we will solve this trying puzzle. I pull you close, an interlocking puzzle, whispering the sweet somethings of forever, and your forehead kiss to show this love is bound. Our warm bodies entangled are tightly bound, 2 pieces making one conjoining puzzle that longs to stay in love as one forever. We're there, forever bound within our puzzle. Matthew Burgio.
If somebody was going to say, what kind of poems does your son write? I would have to say, definitely he's a romantic.
Well, thank you.
Good poem, Matt. Good poem.
Thank you. Yeah, I like messing around with different forms, and this one just was one I wanted to try. I don't know if I've ever written any other tritinas or if this was the only one I've composed, but I've been wanting to kind of get back to some of the forms that I experimented with a few years back and see about writing some new poems. All right, well, from here, we're going to turn it back over to Phil to share his poem for the episode.
Yeah, this is a poem dear to my heart, from my heritage. It's called Believing in America. They came to these shores for a better life, away from poverty, away from strife. They traded red, white, and green for the new red, white, and blue. Though proud of their heritage and customs, the old ways not forgotten but cherished. They traded them for new pride and beliefs. As a youth, I remember the old word music and food at the St. Rocco Church Festival. a full-blown Italian bash. A noble memory was a fireworks show where flares would portray the Italian flag of red, white, and green, as my father would say, the colors of the Queen. A cheer would go up from our nonos and nonas, remembering from whence they came. But then a new display that lit up the crowd, the red, white, and blue, Old Glory, the colors that are true, another quote from my father. A shout, no, a roar, would cut through the noise, and cheers of God Bless America would erupt in heavy accents, but in the language of the new home, from proud American hearts. Phil Burgio.
All right, thank you.
I thought it was a really nice piece. It's very relevant with what's going on today. More people, I think, coming to America and just trying to survive here, just trying to make it through, live a normal everyday life. That's kind of what I got out of it.
I wanted to point out, I like how it ends. I like the line about how the God Bless America, the heavy accent, but in the land, the new language, and how, they could hold on to their heritage, but still be proud of this new opportunity in this new country that they're in.
Yeah.
I kind of miss going to those festivals because they were up in Cleveland. Good times.
Yeah, and I feel like around here we have the church festivals and things, but I feel like they're not the same. Not that I'm saying that from no experience whatsoever from the Cleveland ones, but just the sense I get. And, not to say they're not all the same. I know even down here in the city of Cincinnati, some of those churches have some very, I'll say, ethnic celebrations. But I feel like a lot of times, at least in the suburbs, we miss out on that, you don't have these very deep, rich cultural celebrations going on.
That's what's great about this country, all the different cultures, that you can experience, restaurants and the food and everything. But you still got to come together as Americans. Okay, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, no, that's important. All right, from here, we're going to move to our guest portion of the episode. Mike, you're the poet. Show us what you've got.
Hey, everybody. I'm Mike Defendant. Like they mentioned, I'm from Springfield, Ohio, and I'm excited to be here. It's my first time doing this kind of thing, so I appreciate you guys giving me an opportunity.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to start with this first one. It's called Skeleton versus the Grave Robber.
Yeah.
And it goes a little something like this. Grave robber, spare me my bones. They're all I've got left, so just leave me alone. 6 feet under, I pay for my crimes. I was hanging at the gallows when they ended my times. My last breath was on public display. I've been in this hole since early that day. I don't feel love. I don't feel pain. I just feel okay. Please, grave robber, lay me back to rest. These long years in darkness have been the best. It burns, the light, just shut my casket quick. Without my skin, this feeling makes me sick. I'm too weak to take you down, but back in my day, it was the best around. They feared my name, never spoke it out loud. When I was hanged was when I made the town proud. Death came fast and it came with a buzz. If I would have known that, I would have died just because. The decaying smell is actually kind of sweet. You're numb before the maggots even start to eat. The nightmares stop a few nights in. I don't miss a soul. I never had a real friend. Never made it to heaven, never to hell. If that's even real, I never could tell. Apparently life wasn't even that long. I had lots of fun. I don't regret living wrong. If I'm not laid to rest, I'll be forced to stay, destroying your life every single day. I've been retired for such a long time. These bones are seasoned and covered with grime. If you don't want to be haunted for me to resent you, dig up the next guy and tell him I sent you. Mike Defendant.
I like that.
Thank you for sharing. That's awesome. That's such a unique concept for a poem. Is there anything that inspired that? Or?
So I came up with one day I was just sitting there and I was like, grave robber, spare me my bones. And it just all kind of flowed from that line.
Yeah, that's a great intro line. And there are a lot of good lines in there. I like that line, death came fast and it came with a buzz. If I would have known that, I'd have died just because. Good line there.
Thank you.
I get the impression of a Wild West bandit. Got what he was due for terrorizing the towns and everything. And a badass in life and a badass in death.
Hell yeah.
Very cool. But yeah, that was such a neat concept. And I thought you did a great job of, I just love the dialogue there that he has.
Yeah, your presentation was great.
You can tell you're a musician.
Thank you. Yeah, I perform every week. I try to stay sharp,
You got another poem for us?
I do. This one I actually wrote for my second album. I have two poetry albums. This is on my second one. This is called It Stands in the Shadows. Early in the morning when the clock strikes 3, something here is lurking and it's searching just for me. It's got slimy hands and giant wet feet. It's looking for human. It's looking to eat. Old rags for clothes. I don't know the age. It's filled with lots of hunger and it's filled with lots of rage. It stands in the shadows by the foot of my bed. Is this thing living or is this thing dead? It smells familiar, some smell I've forgotten, but not from a good time. The smell is so rotten. It crawls and it creeps. It continues to stare. It waits for me to sleep again or be unaware. It growls a low growl. It takes a deep breath. Once again, here I am thinking about death. It starts to eat me. It's going so fast. This very sentence, it could be my Mike Defendant.
All right. Thank you for sharing.
We should have hung on to these poems until Halloween. That was great.
Yeah, I thought this was a great Halloween themed poem. It kind of reminded me of, when you start reading it, it reminded me of the sort of the dialogue that's going on in the beginning of the Thriller video by Michael Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
I picture that guy's voice, reading this poem.
Nice.
Is that Vincent Price?
It might be, actually.
Yeah, I can see him reading that poem, yeah.
I think so.
I'm going to have you read the last line because unless you intended to leave out the word last.
Yeah, that's part of the...
Oh, okay. I thought that's what you might have been going for.
It's like a nod to Shel Silverstein.
Ah, yeah.
Another great poet.
Because his poem, I'm being eaten by a boa constrictor or something like that, where he stops when he gets eaten. I believe it's that one. I could be wrong there.
It is. I don't know the exact title, but it is the boa constrictor. And I do remember that poem. But very good concept. I like that.
I like that too. Yeah.
All right. Well, before we move on to the third poem, tell us a little bit about your poetic journey.
So I started writing poetry when I was in the mental hospital, Clark County Mental Health. I wanted to write music, but I didn't have access to a guitar. And I asked them for a notebook. And the few days I was in there, I just filled up the notebook. And when I came home, I'm like, I'm going to add music to these and I'm going to make these songs. But I'm like, no, these are poems. They were written as poems. They need to remain poems. And that kind of kicked off my poetry journey. And I started doing some live performing here and there at open mics and at shows and wherever I can, really. But I've been at it for like a few years now, and I love every minute of it.
Very cool. You're doing a good job with it. Kind of glad you decided to keep some of them as poems. You know what I mean? Obviously, there's a lot of correlation there with lyrics and poetry, but it's kind of nice to see them separate sometimes.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to promote? You mentioned that you had a couple poetry albums out there, and I believe you have a website. I know I checked it out when I was looking into your background there.
Yeah, actually, thanks for asking. You can find me on MikeDefendant.com, or you can also find me in my music and poetry on MikeDefendant.bandcamp.com. I have music available on all streaming services and under the name Mike Defendant, or with my band Mike Defendant plus Katrina Joe, or my other band Dirty Buggers. I'm currently in like 5 bands, so I'm just kind of staying busy.
Nah, man, that's awesome. And we'll definitely share some of those links.
Where do you perform in Springfield?
Station 1. It's a cool little restaurant bar across from the fire station.
We might have to come check that out someday.
Yeah, not that far from us. Maybe about an hour drive. Yeah.
We love having poets.
Oh, great. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Come check it out sometime. I'll check out your website, see when you guys are performing.
After the snow thaws.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
For those of you in the rest of the world, we're about to get hit with a mega snowstorm here tonight.
Hey, half the country's getting hit.
Oh, yeah.
Got another one for us.
I do. This one, I actually do have a better story about this one here. I spent an entire day in bed watching documentaries about Bigfoot hunters.
Ah, yes.
And I was very, very inspired because, like, these people, they go through a tremendous amount of, like, hard work to go on these missions and spend days hunting in the woods. And people just look at them like they're crazy, and they may be crazy, I don't know. But the commitment is what makes me respect them, and the loyalty to just going and doing what they believe in. I don't know why, but that inspired me to write this poem. It's called Squatchin Ain't Easy. Scientific resistance, the government lies. He's been searching these woods since he opened his eyes. Infrared cameras and a Sasquatch call, laying apples round the mountains to attract them all. Cold, alone, dark, at night, hoping for a Bigfoot to walk in his sight after 30 expeditions and a fight with a bear. He's spending his life searching everywhere. They ask him for the evidence, but refuse to take a look. He's got hours of footage, and he even wrote a book. Have you ever had an urge so strong to risk everything for something with a chance of being wrong? Have you taken that step? Have you taken that fall? Break down the barriers that try to build a wall. Did you take the broken pieces and try to make something your own, or did you stumble in the moment and miss the chances you were thrown? When life gives you lemons from the choices you have made, you mix it with your sorrow and you make some lemonade. You put it in a glass, pull it to your face, but you spill the liquid on the floor before you get a taste. Back to the lemon juice stained drawing board that's covered by filth from the failed attempts before. His paper is sticky, it's harder to write. For him that means nothing, it's part of the fight. A fight he knows so well, he's mastered the art of maintaining his position while he battles his part. Mike Defendant.
I really like that because I'm a big Sasquatch watcher. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I watch the programs you watch.
Yeah.
And you're right. It's about the commitment. Definitely about the commitment.
Yeah.
And their hearts are in it.
Oh, yeah.
There's some good video out there. I don't know if you believe or not. That's up to you, but something's out there.
I want to believe.
Yeah, me too.
Tell you what, I'll do a quick plug for Jimmy Akin's Mysterious World, but Phil and I are listeners of that podcast, and he does a good job. I think he kicks it off right episode 2 or 3 about Bigfoot, and then he goes a little deeper into a much later episode talking about Bigfoot and some of the stories, and really looking at the evidence. He does a good job of looking at things with an open mind and a little less of the flair in media, but there's some legit stories and things out there.
Yeah.
It was cool, too. I wanted to mention that, well, first of all, great poem, and I love your delivery.
Thank you.
This was one of the poems when I went to your website I saw, and of course, I was drawn to the title, Squatchin Ain't Easy, because Phil and I love the cryptozoology and things like that. So I'm glad you shared this on the podcast, because I enjoyed this. Yeah, my wife and I were out in Oregon earlier in 2025, and there's a North American Bigfoot Museum there.
Oh.
Very cool to check out. A lot of the stories, a lot of evidence, a lot of, the foot casts, some video footage. If you're really into Bigfoot and you make it out in Oregon, or if you're out in Oregon, definitely worth checking out. It wasn't too big, but it had a lot of neat information and a lot of cool stories and things. So if you really want to delve into the Bigfoot world, check out the North American Bigfoot Museum there in Oregon.
Oh, yeah. We've been out to West Virginia and been to the Mothman Museum a couple times, but I haven't been to any Bigfoot stuff yet.
Yeah, I've been to that Mothman Museum. That's pretty neat. I also love that statue that's out there.
Yeah.
Isn't it Salt Fork Lake State Park? They have a lot of Sasquatch sightings in Ohio.
Not sure.
I think it's Salt Fork Lake.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, definitely an interesting creature concept all over the world. I mean, we've got our Bigfoot here in America, but it seems like almost all the continents have some sort of similar creature that has stories abound about it.
Yeah.
But a very cool poem. Great delivery.
Thank you.
I also love how you say your name at the end of your poems. You can tell you definitely have good stage presence.
Yeah, I did check. It is Salt Fork Lake State Park. Dense woodlands.
Oh.
They call it the grass man, similar to Bigfoot.
Oh, yeah, the Ohio Grassman.
Yeah, we got to do an expedition out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we wrap things up, is there anything else you want to say about poetry or what you've got going on?
I just want to speak to the other poets out there that are listening, because I know a lot of poets listen to this. One thing I like to tell poets is keep writing even when it sucks. Just keep writing. Keep doing the thing. That's all I got.
Good advice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we don't have any feedback for this episode, but as we wrap things up, we want to let our listeners know that we're grateful that you've taken the time to tune in. We hope you're enjoying the poetry shared here, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the podcast and share it with others. If you would like to support You're the Poet and what we're doing here, there are a couple of ways to help. You can find links on our website to our Buy Me a Coffee patron site, as well as our You're the Poet store, where you can buy You're the Poet merchandise and share your love of poetry with the world. Thank you for your support as we continue to grow. Please check out our website and various social media outlets to keep up to date with You're the Poet. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and our website, you'rethepoet.com. Until next time, Phil, thanks for joining us.
I enjoyed this podcast. Yeah.
Mike, thank you for being our guest.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you both. Goodbye.